Hey folks, this is Meredith from the Papery Craftery. Today I am sharing a different kind of project. It's not just quilling, it's more of a quilling meets origami. And we're going to be making really tiny mini roses. I'm going to be using this orchid colored paper. These strips are 1/8 of an inch wide. You'll also want to use a slotted tool for this project. I have two different ones here, very slight difference in the diameter, and also some white glue will be fine for this project. You really don't need anything stronger. To start with, I am going to take one of these strips of this orchid paper. These are really long 24-inch strips. I'm not going to be using that length at all. I'm going to say about 8 inches or so, which will probably even be more than I need for this project. And I'm going to go real slow with this, but it's very, very simple. So after I put the end of the strip in my slotted tool, I'm going to turn once, turn twice, turn 3 times, just a few. That exact number doesn't matter, but turn a few times. Hold your strip still. Give it a bend backwards. So again, I have my strip and I bend it backwards. I give a little pinch there and I give a turn. That fold is what's going to end up being the petal of your roses. And you're going to do that a bunch of times. I give it a little bit of a turn, another bend backwards, and then another turn. And I have another rose petal there. Hold it still, a little bit of a turn, a bend backwards, and another turn. And as you're doing this, bend backwards and another turn, you're getting another layer of petals every time. Another bend backwards and another turn. Another bend backward and another turn. This is one of those projects that might take a few times before you're like, oh, okay, I get it. Here's a nice view of it starting to be in formation, but this really is very simple. But what I have found is it's very hard to get the exact shape on your tool. That's a good starting point, but I have much better luck when I take it off, holding it all together, flip it over, and continue a few more folds by hand. Fold backwards, give it a turn. And then another fold backward and give it a turn. I have found that I get a better width of my flower this way. The first few turns when you're on the needle tool kind of just layer on top of each other. But once I take it off and flip it over and keep doing a few of those back bends around in a circle, it just gets a little bit wider and it just makes this flower look a little bit more full. I don't want to let go, so you can only see about half of it there, but it's getting wider as I go. I don't generally do too much past this part here. When I want to be done, I give another back bend, kind of flip it over right towards the middle and tear off any excess. And then I'm going to put some glue on that little tail. And I'm going to lay that there. Sometimes that dot of glue on the bottom is all you need for your little rosette to completely stay in place. But sometimes the center, or maybe even just a layer or two, will start to kind of pop out like an accordion. If it does that, mine started to after a few seconds. Ooh, sorry about that. If it does kind of start to pop out a little bit, you can see there, it looks like that bottom layer is about to come out and kind of unravel. You can use your little needle nose container or a toothpick to apply a little small dot of glue on whatever layer wants to threaten to come out, and that should be enough to keep it all together. Of course, like any of my projects, I had to give you a few options. I have some different sizes here, some different width of paper. This, get it in focus. go. This pale pink is a 3mm strip, which are a little bit bigger than 1/8 strips, and I made this one a little bit wider. So, but exactly the same way. They got a little bit more of a weight to them. They're a little bit more substantial than the 1/8 inch ones. And then, because I like to make myself a little baddie, I did use really tiny 1/16 inch strips to make these extremely small rosettes. That was not easy. It's possible. They actually look really pretty. You can't really get the detail picked up on this camera, but they look really pretty when they're done. They're so teensy and tiny. But I just wanted to play around with a bunch of different options. A whole little multicolored rose garden I have going here. And I also wanted to leave you with some project ideas as well. One of the ideas I can give is to use some sort of template to fill in. I have a couple videos, I will link to those in the description box, using this heart template and kind of doing the outline with different greenery. These will work really well for those projects instead of the flowers that I used as examples. And I'm just putting these flowers on here as a demonstration. I know I'm going to get questions about this. I'm not using this as a surface to glue this quilling on. You'll get all the steps in those other videos, how to use this template and use it under some wax paper. But I also thought maybe you could fill them in like an ombre design there, you know, cascading colors from light to darkest. Another project, it's kind of hard to get this in view here, so pardon me as I move my camera around. Another project that you could use these mini rosettes for is to make a little topiary. I did this project on my website a couple years ago to make a little hydrangea topiary, and I didn't want to recreate it using these rosettes personally because it's honestly kind of a bear of a project. It takes a while to make this, but you get the idea. It's actually just a small styrofoam ball and some flowers on top of it, some quilled leaves, and some soil. I'll also link to that project in the description box. It might, again, just be fun to play around with that. Maybe I'll end up making it someday. We'll see how it goes, but I'm sure you will come up with some other ideas. Those were just a couple off the top of my head, in addition to your usual cards and whatever other quilling projects you like to add flowers to. As always, don't forget to leave any questions or comments you have in the comment section of this video. I always try to answer everything as soon as I can. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel so you don't miss my next video. Might be a good idea also, if you're not already, to follow me on Instagram. I am at the Papery Craftery. I will be sure to leave any other videos you should watch in the description box for this video, like the ones with those heart templates, and I'll also leave any supplies that you might need for this project as well down there. Thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.